Va a ser interesante escuchar cuáles serán los próximos pasos de Mozilla, que planea apuntar hacia las aplicaciones web. Firefox OS busca ser un fuerte rival y afronta grandes expectativas. Tendremos pistas sobre el futuro de Mozilla gracias a nuestra siguiente invitada. Su charla, titulada The Web is the Platform, The Web is the Platform, se me fue el gallito, la podéis comentar con el hashtag #MitchellEBE. #MitchellEBE. Luego, si queréis hacer una pregunta para que la seleccionemos a través de Twitter, #MitchellEBE y le agregamos la P al final, #MitchellEBP. Ella es más de California que el mismísimo cartel de Hollywood, pero vive en Barcelona. Ha sido directora general de Mozilla desde 1999 y fue CEO hasta enero de 2008. Ahora está vinculada al desarrollo de productos y a la motivación del equipo como presidenta de la Fundación Mozilla. Es, según Time, una de las mejores científicas y pensadoras del año 2005, de la selección del año 2005, y tiene más premios que Leo Messi en su casa. Recibamos con un fuerte aplauso a nuestra última invitada del día. Ella es Mitchell Baker.
Welcome. I'm really excited to be here. It's the first trip that my family and I have made out of Barcelona in our 2 months living in Spain so far. So I'm excited both to get to the city and this conference. Today I want to talk about the web as the platform. Whoa, wrong way. There we go. Mozilla looks very much like other software vendors. We build software, it's great software, it's easy to use without thinking about more. But at Mozilla, we think of ourselves much differently and with a much bigger goal. We have a mission in the world. We're a nonprofit organization, and we're trying to build certain qualities into the internet. We're trying to build openness and freedom into the internet. We're trying to build the ability for developers to build what you want and to offer it to people as you want to. And we're trying to build the sense and the reality that each one is in control of our lives. And so we work with commercial organizations, but we're not like them. And so we have, first and foremost in Mozilla, our mission and a set of values that we work with. We call those the Mozilla Manifesto, and they set out our view of the internet. That the internet is a global, public resource that should be available to all. And that's what we try to build. And that's what Firefox is about when you look deeply. At the top layer, it's about a good product. And underneath that, it's about building the internet with these set of traits in them. We care about the product, and we care about the environment that these products live in. The future of the internet and the future of the web is uncertain. They may be open, they may have the freedoms we've enjoyed over the last 15 years, but they may not. There are a number of significant threats. One of them, of course, is that the technology is so powerful that it may overwhelm our democratic traditions. Around the world, we see legislation, rulemaking, policies that shut down the internet. And many times they're different than what would happen in print. So Spain has a tradition of balancing security and safety against speech and freedom. France has one, Germany has one, England has one, the United States has one. Pick your country. Indonesia has one, China has one. Every society has a history of how we balance those. And here, in the societies where we have a tradition of democracy and a balance with a very high focus on individual freedoms, those are being changed through internet legislation. So that's one area that we care about. The second area that we care about for the web is the legislation that protects existing industries. SOPA and PIPA and ACTA, of course, was legislation to protect certain content industries, even at the cost of the internet. So at Mozilla, when we build Firefox, we're also trying to build communities of people and enough influence in the market to be able to affect policy decisions as well. You know, we're mostly developers. We'd rather just focus on software, but the policy area is becoming important as well. Let's see. And the third threat that we're looking at today is a technology threat. That as we've moved into new devices, the freedoms of the web have been left behind, or are being left behind. And so that's an area that we're spending an immense amount of time working on, and I'll talk in detail about that in a few minutes. But first, in general terms, how does Mozilla fulfill our mission? We build product, but we also build communities of people. Because our goal for the internet is that each one of us has choice, and each one of us can build what we want as a developer, and each one of us can actually be in control of our lives, then the best way to do that is to make it real ourselves. And so we build the Mozilla community to be partly employees, partly volunteers, all working together with the sense and the reality that we can influence our lives. We can influence Firefox, we can influence how Mozilla behaves, we can influence policy, we can influence how we work together. And so that's important because it has a philosophical basis. We live that way because that's the world we want to see. And we live that way because it's also how we build our products. This is a picture from one of the Mozilla gatherings of local Mozilla communities from probably 20 or 30 or 40 countries that we get together. And the people who are part of these communities, both employees and volunteers, are all critical to building Firefox. We build Firefox differently than many companies do. This is the list of who contributes to Firefox. If you go to Firefox and you open up the About settings and you go through them, you will find this list. It's very long. It has employees on it, of course, but it's got far more volunteers on it, people who spend some percentage of their time working with Mozilla because we want to see the world reflect the qualities we care about. And so when you go outside and you see the Mozilla booth, that is a booth designed and organized and staffed by the local Mozilla community here in Spain. That's the community. There's our reps right over there in the corner, if you want to wave. That's the group of people who contacted me and said, you should come to this event, it's important. They're the group of people who contacted all of Mozilla and said, we should be doing something here, we'll do it. And so when you go outside, and be sure to stop by and say hello, but this is one of our oldest communities in Mozilla, one of our most organized communities, and one of the communities that is most active in guiding Mozilla overall policy. Because what we do, if you're in California, as I was, it's hard to really understand the rest of the world. And so the way we make sure that Firefox fits not just California, but everywhere, is to have active, thoughtful people engaged. And so the Mozilla booth comes from that effort. And for us, that's how Firefox becomes successful, is it's both a product, but it reflects a local reality, and it reflects the things that people are willing to work on. And so we have found that on the occasions, if we start to act like a normal company, like we start to fail. And it's when Mozilla and Firefox are different and really attuned to the internet and attuned to the web, when voices from all over are reflected in the products and the way we work, that's when we're successful. And so that's how we got to Firefox, and that's the approach that we're trying to build in the other products that we're working on. Let's see here. There's Firefox, of course, for the desktop. Sometimes people think that the desktop is over and done. We don't think that. You know, the world is changing, and it's not the only tool anymore, but it's still a pretty powerful tool, and there's a lot of innovation to come. So right now, for example, the new versions of Firefox have the first API for social events, the social API. And our thinking on that is that if social is really a part of everything about the web, it might be convenient to be able to do everything and have your stream of social data available at the same time. And maybe some of the things you're doing, you want your Facebook stream. Sometimes if you're doing maybe more work-related things, you might want your LinkedIn stream. And maybe someday you'll want something new, some new social network that does something specific for you. So the social API is not building Facebook into Firefox. It's not building LinkedIn into Firefox. It's building in the API so that you can make a choice of which social provider you'd like to see. It's very much like the search API, which comes with Google as a default. But if there's another search engine that you're interested in, you know, if you do medical research, there are specialized search engines for medical research. There's specialized search engines for many different things. And of course, in some countries of the world, there's competition even to Google. And so you can change the search engine. You can change it to an e-commerce engine. And so that's our model for social. There's also real-time communication built into the upcoming versions of Firefox. This essentially opens telephony to the web, to a web page and to a browser, so that all of a sudden voice can be part of all of your apps. You might choose to open Skype or a similar app if you want to, but if you want phone interaction with the rest of your web life, that's now possible. And so there's a lot of innovation left on the desktop. And over time, of course, these will merge. You know, the idea that we have the desktop and mobile, this is just a moment in history. It reflects the fact that we're at the very early stages of this network. Over time, maybe we'll develop some features on a phone because having a limited space makes it easier to develop very precise and careful interactions. At the same time, maybe we'll develop on a laptop or a big, powerful desktop machine when that fits the need. But using those tools in the future, we'll think of how we access the network. And maybe we'll have a phone, maybe we'll have a desktop machine, maybe we'll have an alarm clock. You know, who knows what the actual hardware will be? And so we continue to innovate and develop on the desktop as well as innovating on mobile devices, because we want the freedoms that are important to us to be available across all devices. And we want to be able to pick which device is the best one for the task I want to do and still have access to the kinds of openness and freedom and control that are important to us. Oh, I keep doing that. So, as well as Firefox on the desktop, We have released a new version of Firefox on Android. It really is the best browser you will find on an Android phone. If you happened to try it a year or so ago, that was not the case. This is a radically different product. And so if you tried it a year or so ago and didn't like it, I urge you to try once more. We changed the technology in this product. We looked up and we realized that we had become too tied to our own technology. And so we took a layer of it and we tossed it out. And we said, we're much more tied to a great product. And so you should give it a try. I hope you will. It's very fast. It brings the qualities of Firefox that you might care about. It brings tabbed browsing. It brings all the awesome bar things. It brings do not track. It brings the set of things that have made Firefox great into your mobile device. But of course, a browser on a mobile device is not enough. It's only one layer of what we do. And so we're also working on the Firefox OS. And I've been wanting to do something broader than a browser on phones for many years. But it's only in the last year and a half we've been able to see how to do something that accomplishes what we care about. We care about having a product in the market that people love. We care about market share because that gives us impact. But we care most of all about building a product that reflects the world we want to see and that reflects the distributed nature of the web and reflects the openness and freedoms that we care about. I'm having trouble. And so we now know how to do that, and we're in the midst of building it now. And it is not that different in approach to when we started with Firefox. Before we built Firefox, Mozilla had years when we were a failure. We had a product before Firefox. It was very strong technically, and the user experience was very poor. And so we kept at it, and we built Firefox at a time when no one thought it could matter. But we could tell that the internet was there, and there was a lot of activity, especially on the server side of the internet. But the web platform on top of it was very poor. In those days, there was only Internet Explorer. It was terrible. But no one could imagine anything different. And so we built Firefox to change that. We built Firefox to break open the web and to have a great experience as well. IE was bad in two ways. It was a terrible product, terrible user experience, and it closed off the web. Everything had to go through Microsoft. And so we built Firefox to change that. Now today, of course, the internet is active, and there's a lot going on with it. But we have a new layer on the mobile devices of proprietary software. We've seen this before. This is what the world looked like before the web, when you had a proprietary set of software from Microsoft and a proprietary set of software from Apple. And before the web, Apple lost. Microsoft won. And so today we're seeing the same set of technology, where you have the internet, but you don't really access it directly. You access it through Apple technology and Apple, or Google and Google technology, or Microsoft technology. That's not the world that we want. And we are looking for a world that has the internet and the web platform and you. We do not want to build Mozilla as a third or fourth alternative. We do not want to see a world that is Apple, Google, maybe Microsoft, maybe Nokia, Mozilla. That's not the world we want to see. We want to see a world that is the web as the platform, where information and data lives and moves through the web, where the technologies are open like the web, and where what you do on your mobile device can easily be done or transferred to your other devices as well. Did I miss one there? Sorry, I'm having trouble with this device here. Okay. So this is the image today. And you'll notice I did not put a Mozilla column there because that's not what we're looking for. Let's see if I can get this right. So one of the reasons it took us so long to have Firefox OS is it took us a long time to figure out how to make the web the platform in a way that we believed in and that we can commit wholeheartedly to. And as it turns out, all the operators and telephone companies and handset manufacturers and chip manufacturers believe in as well. And that is the web as the platform. So I don't know if you can see this, but today's OSs have, the piece that's got the hardware in it, and they contain a layer of APIs and that layer of proprietary technology that we looked at before. That's not necessary. Firefox OS does not have that. Firefox OS has a kernel. It's a Linux kernel from Android, so tested across your phones. And on top of that, it has web technologies. It has web APIs. Those are the same APIs you would be used to today. So if you're interested in geolocation, for example, it was Mozilla who designed the geolocation API years ago to work across mobile devices and desktop devices, so that the APIs that you use to access the phone are the same APIs that you're used to using and can access the web with. And that allows us to build a future in which your experiences are portable across devices. And of course, on top of the APIs, there's a user experience, there's apps, and there's content. And in the Firefox OS, that is all web technologies. It doesn't require being online. It's not like using a browser, but it's built with the same set of technologies. And so this is the architecture that allows us to build a device, to put a Firefox name on it, to build a set of experiences for Mozilla and Firefox users that are great, but also to make that technology and those possibilities available to competitors, to build the web as a platform. Right? We view the competition in the browser space as a success for Mozilla. We view Microsoft reinvesting in Internet Explorer as a success for us. We build Google investing in Chrome as a success for us because it moves the web forward and it moves our experience forward. Like, it's not comfortable, it's much harder, but it's a success. And so all of our work with Firefox and Firefox OS is designed to show what the web can do. Because we hear over and over that the web isn't good enough. The web isn't fast enough. JavaScript isn't good enough. And it turns out we've heard this forever. It used to be the web was only good for text. And then the web could never do video. And then the web suddenly can do large-scale applications. The first one was Google Mail. But now you look at the whole suite of applications on the web. Today we hear the web can't do games. That's changing pretty dramatically. I urge you to look at some of the capabilities with the new graphics that are possible. And so we also heard that the web doesn't have APIs to the device. You can't reach the accelerometer, you can't reach the camera. Well, that was only because no one built them. And so at Mozilla, we started the effort to build these APIs into HTML5 as a web standard. No one else had done it. We did it. It's not that hard. And so today, the web is more capable than even 6 months ago. And I'll urge you to take a look at Firefox OS and see what the web can do. One of our core goals is to make the mobile world accessible to more people. And that means more developers. We often hear that Google and Apple have such a lead with the number of applications and web developers that no one else can ever be successful in the mobile space. But the web is the biggest platform we've ever seen, and there are millions of web developers. So part of the goal for Firefox OS is to make that set of skills relevant today for all devices. So imagine, if you're a web developer, that you could hold your phone in your hand and view source and see what the phone did. Well, that's possible. Not with the phones you have in your hands today, but with the phones of the future. And that will be possible in Firefox OS today. And if you are interested in building apps and understanding where we are in the APIs, then I urge you, there's a workshop at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, hosted by the Mozilla community, and you can talk to them at the Mozilla booth out there. And that is not about just building for Firefox OS. That's about building apps for mobile devices across the web. Because turns out you can do anything on a phone. All the things that were supposed to be hard, build a dialer, build an SMS client. It's partly a matter of will. Now, getting a beautiful user experience, that's always hard in a product, but the actual underlying technology has come so far in the last year and a half that we've been working on it, and was actually so much richer than people thought on the device that the opportunities are really, really wide open. Of course, apps need a marketplace, and so there will be a Firefox marketplace. Once again, it has the same goal. We don't want the Apple Store, the Google Store, the Mozilla Store. We want the marketplace to be an opening to the web. And there may be many marketplaces. When I go today to buy shoes, I may go to any number of places. I might go to the sporting goods store if I want high-quality athletic shoes. I may go to a shoe store if I don't care. I may go to a fashion store if I want fancy nighttime shoes or evening shoes. And so today, the marketplaces of Apple and Google, and I think the others, Microsoft and RIM and so on, they're all very focused on, come to us, stay in our world, and developers need to choose where you're going to spend your time and energy. And so there will be a Mozilla marketplace, but you should look at that as the gateway to the web for apps that work across devices as an option for you, not as a requirement. We found that some websites want just to offer an app. If I've gone to your website, maybe you just want to offer me an app. And today, you send that app through the appropriate app store. Maybe you want to offer it yourself as well. There's no reason not to do that sort of thing. There's no reason why a web developer shouldn't have that choice. We see today some of the big names, the New York Times and the Financial Times, really deciding that they prefer to offer their apps themselves. But there's no great way of doing that. And so when you see the marketplace from Mozilla, please think about what's a way to bring apps into a setting where they're more like the web. And behind it all is the question of identity. Like, who am I on the web? Today, in many places, I'm Facebook/Mitchell Baker. Well, I don't like that. I'm not anybody /Mitchell Baker. Like, I'm the center of my world. It's not Facebook. So sometimes Facebook/Mitchell Baker is okay. Sometimes LinkedIn/Mitchell Baker is okay, but it's not enough. There needs to be a place in the world where it's Mitchell Baker. And some stuff may go off to Facebook, some stuff may go nowhere, some stuff may stay with me. There needs to be a system in the world where I control my identity. And I might decide that when I'm doing some things, I want the whole stream of Facebook data to be attached to my activities. And I want the whole stream of Facebook data to be used to send me ads and apps and whatever it is that Facebook does it. But I might have other areas where I don't want that to be the case. And currently we have no good mechanism for that. And so underlying Firefox OS is a product called Persona, which is designed to provide an identity that's portable that you can take anywhere. And so you'll see that on Firefox phones, but the goal of that is really much broader. And we have one other initiative which is a little bit different. And it's really about the sense that I can make something. And the web allows immense creativity. But it's easy for people to come into the web or the network and not understand that you either can view source, or that you can change something, or that you can make something different. And Firefox was our first example of that. The first thing the local communities do, usually, is localize Firefox into a language and a locale. And that's the beginning. But after that, there's so many things that we can do on the web to take information from one place and write a script and process it and do something else with it. So WebMaker is an initiative aimed at learning and teaching people, mostly youth, but a little bit all of us, that the web is ours and that it's possible and fun to actually change it. So that when you want to create an app or you want to get more data or you want to understand more, you can do that. And so that's a program run in conjunction with schools, museums, libraries, really aimed at getting youth to have a fun experience of getting your hands into the web. Because if you think of Mozilla's goals, we want great products, we want communities of people, we want communities of people living the life of great products plus opportunity to make them change as you want them. That's our goal. And so we have a program to help people get some early experience at doing that. Right? Because looking at Firefox and saying, wow, I want to contribute to Firefox can be pretty difficult sometimes. But it isn't that hard to actually get engaged in making your own things on the web, if you have a little help somewhere along the way. And we find that many schools don't teach that. It's not much fun, and it doesn't reflect the spirit of the web. And so the WebMaker program is designed to do all of that. All of these together have a single goal. Right? We're trying to build a better world. And the better world for us is one that has the openness and freedoms and responsibilities that comes with it. So we set out to build communities of people who have fun, who enjoy being together, who work very hard, and for whom the work is centered on building opportunity for all. And building the opportunity for you and the people you know to build new things without having to go to anyone, not Apple, not Google, not Mozilla, for permission. Because when you have to ask for permission to do anything, the cost is huge. And the amount of new things and innovation and creativity gets funneled through a single viewpoint. And so we're trying to build this better world. We hope you see it in our products. We're sure you'll see it in the Mozilla communities. And most of all, we hope that you'll join us. Thank you.
Bien. Thank you very much, Mitchell.